The 6th Oasis-class ship from Royal Caribbean International has arrived in the form of Utopia of the Seas, and she is a stunner from stem to stern. Welcome to Popular Cruising. I am your host Jason Leopard, and this is our deck-by-deck tour and review of Utopia, including all its brand new experiences, and finishing with our final pros and cons. We'll begin high and work our way down, starting from Deck 18, where the perfect storm of 3 complementary water slides is repeated from previous ships in the series. Consisting of the Cyclone, Supercell, and Typhoon, 2 are high-speed racers, and the third is a milder descent into a swirling champagne bowl, the latter of which was still being worked on when we first boarded the ship. But always at the ready are our latest cruise videos, so please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel to be notified of each. Next on Deck 17 is an included public sun deck at the end of the ship, opposite from the private ship within a ship complex of an exclusive lounge, restaurant, and more just for sweet guests. And on the flip side is the social 100 patio freely available to only teens on board, complete with its own outdoor space, fun statue for Instagrammable moments, and even its own whirlpool. Then on Deck 16 is where the interior social 100 teen club is found, and there is plenty more space to socialize within air conditioning. Plus, neat interactive tables offer a variety of games to digitally play. But there's only one colorful regal chair fit for a queen or king. Just outside from the teen space are table tennis and a sports court available to every passenger, provided you don't mind the heat and humidity of the Caribbean. And one of Royal Caribbean's signature Flow Rider surf simulators is still along for the ride to try for free or pay for lessons, and kids and adults still seem to love this one equally. Meanwhile, servicing the stern section of the ship is the first of many extra-cost watering holes. The wipeout bar even serves shaved ice to help beat said heat, before potentially wiping out at the Flow Rider, as many inevitably do. Or if you're looking for the quickest way to get from Deck 16 to the boardwalk on Deck 6, the free Ultimate Abyss pair of dry slides has been reprised on Utopia, again dramatically perched high above the Aqua Theater, but this time with new zoom booster rollers to gain even more velocity on the already swift descent, which now only takes 19 seconds from start to finish. The only question that remains is, do you have the courage to take the high-speed plunge? Adding to the list of things not quite ready for our preview sailing was also Deck 16's included Playscape, which has its own set of tamer dry slides for children to enjoy. Or for all ages fun, Aqua Dunes is a complimentary 9-hole miniature golf course themed to all sorts of sea creatures. And don't forget there's also an included zipline that passes high above the boardwalk area. Once you get across to the final platform, it's probably time for a drink and a snack. So the extra cost Cantina Fresca and included El Loco Fresh next door fit the bill nicely. This is one of several bars that features a Coca-Cola freestyle machine as well. And while the Mexican food here is still not the best at sea, it is not quite as bland as it has been in the past, but I would still recommend topping the tacos, burritos, and quesadillas with salsa, guacamole, and more for added flavor. Also available just inside is an arcade that is located conveniently opposite the social 100 teen space, with some classic and rather unique looking paid games. And all the way forward on this level is the first of Utopia's many specialty restaurants. Hook Seafood offers premium shellfish and other courses for lunch and dinner in a coastal atmosphere that overlooks the Solarium Bistro. Here's a sampler of some of the fine fare you can expect here. Centrally located on Deck 16 are also the ship's cool glass-sided whirlpools, positioned one level above the main pool deck and even higher above the Central Park courtyard. This area is usually quite busy, but it does get less crowded on port days as seen here. That then brings us to said Pool Deck 15, where not 1, not 2, but 3 pools are freely available. On a sea day they are particularly popular, but there are many loungers waiting in 2 of the pools to further cool off by. The third variety, by comparison, is more of a traditional pool, flanked by regular dry loungers. Moreover, in between is Sprinkles, for grabbing a complimentary soft-serve ice cream cone, where the friendly staff will swirl one right up for you and hand it off to you before returning to the pools. And no pool deck would be complete without a bar. And it just so happens, the 3 pools have 3 of their own lime and coconuts to service them. In other words, you will never go thirsty on Utopia of the Seas, on either Deck 15 or on Deck 16. Filling in the last corner of the pool deck is Splashaway Bay, a kid-friendly mini water park with lots of interactive elements, several slides, and of course an oversized dunk bucket. And rounding out the main pool area are multiple shaded cabanas that are available to rent, not to mention never-ending sea views, punctuated by Royal Caribbean's massive crown and anchor logo. Also cleverly cantilevered over the ocean is the included adult-only solarium's translucent whirlpool for unique views above and below the waterline. And the space just for those 18 and above only expands from there, with what is essentially a climate-controlled observation lounge that showcases partial shade, additional whirlpools, and other plunge pools, and waiting loungers that extend even 1 level lower. And naturally, it's all serviced by its own watering hole. Or just outside is yet another paid view bar, again with vistas to match. Nestled within the solarium is its namesake included bistro, which is essentially a secondary buffet. On our particular pre-inaugural voyage, premium shellfish was featured. But the lighter fare offered here does not ordinarily rise quite to that level, but rather highlights refreshing salads, etc. Ensuring the outdoor pool deck is also well attended to with food, the Spare Tire is a new complimentary food truck, offering easy grab-and-go sandwiches, wraps, and tornadoes. Or rather serviceable Costco-like, sample station-grade taquitos, filled with cheese and pepperoni, or ranchero beef and cheese. Reprised since first being introduced on its preceding Wonder of the Sea sister ship is the Mason Jar, a delicious southern specialty restaurant with an attached live country music stage and bar, not to mention a row of inviting porch-style rocking chairs overlooking the sea, as well as a neat swinging bench. The dining room itself is just as welcoming, so I highly recommend making a reservation for this one. The ship's included main buffet is still the Windjammer, with a very wide variety of complimentary, self-served items for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm happy to say the quality of available food has certainly improved for enjoying from its plentiful wraparound seating. In my case, I had a tasty dinner that featured French cuisine mirroring the main dining room, in addition to the line's always excellent Indian cuisine. Descending to Deck 14 is where the ship's included Adventure Ocean Kids facility is positioned, but again its attached escape room was not open for business, nor yet installed. And even all the playrooms for the various ages were not fully complete, with some still in the process of being finished on our sailing. But what was ready at least looks nicely themed and well designed for multiple groups, from toddlers on up. Until they graduate to Social 100, that is. And when it comes time to take the elevators up, or down in our case, you just might encounter Utopia's roaming pianist. Imagine this playful steampunk character tickling the ivories in comedic fashion from just about anywhere on board. With its entrance on Deck 12 further descending to Deck 11, the newly 2-story Giovanni's Italian Kitchen has taken up residence in the space formerly occupied by the fantastical Wonderland on older ships. The specialty restaurant now benefits from more room and an attached entry bar, as well as al fresco terrace that has a view to the boardwalk and wake at the back of the vessel. Altogether, it makes for a handsome location despite the loss of said Wonderland, but an entirely new interactive dining concept, as you'll soon see, is showcased instead, one that you have to take the scenic elevators down again to eventually get to. But first on Deck 9 is where I occupied my balcony stateroom while on board for 3 nights. The cabin category's living layout is consistent from before and decorated in earthen tones with minimal pops of color. The vanity consists of a desk and chair conveniently lined with 3 US electrical outlets, 2 European ones, and singular USB-A, and singular USB-C charging ports. The upper drawers also contain a hairdryer and tissues, and below are more, as well as a mini fridge. Towards the bedroom space, I especially love how a staggered set of 5 hanging hooks have returned below the television. And the bed itself is rather comfortable thanks to a spongy mattress that our teddy bear friends approved of. And kudos once more to each nightstand featuring extra storage, plus a USB-C charging port and US electrical outlet. When you're ready to book your own stateroom or suite on Utopia, we recommend doing so through our sponsor Fairy Godmother Travel, who will magically take care of all your trip planning absolutely for free. To get your complimentary quote, just click the link right here, or follow the website, phone number, or email address below. Back inside, surrounding the sofa, which is very stiff compared to the bed, are closet cabinets containing a combination of pull-out drawers, shelving, a safe and hanging space in one, and even more hanging space in another. And the bathroom has bonus hooks behind the magnetically latched door, behind which is a well-designed footprint for a toilet, sink basin, toiletries, thankfully including a soap bar still, and several shelves. And the rounded shower, even if not super spacious, is at least easy enough to turn around in and reach the shaving ledge below welcome wand and rain shower heads. Meanwhile, also on Deck 9 is Music Hall, another double-decker venue for live musical performances that stretches down to Deck 8. The upper level highlights billiards, and the lower level is where the best sightlines are, as well as accompanying bar. Deck 8 is where the aforementioned Central Park can be reached, a fully landscaped retreat that is unfortunately often spoiled by the spilling of loud music from the pool deck above, a ship-wide problem. But that is nicely populated by zoo-like statues of fave animals. It's still a special space with real live plants, but achieving noise abatement needs to be a top priority here and elsewhere. Among the areas that could be quieter if efforts succeed is the trellis bar for added cost drinks enjoyed outside, but under partial shade. And skirting either side of the park are a few more dining venues to consider. One such specialty restaurant is the returning Chops Grill. The steakhouse remains a guest favorite for meat lovers who enjoy seeing dishes emerge from the open display galley. Or on the opposite side is still 150 Central Park, for a more eclectic mix of premium fare in a beautifully mosaic tiled and floral decorated space, complete with intriguing seating. New to Utopia is Izumi, positioned at the park, now that Giovanni's has its fresh location. That amounts to the specialty Asian restaurant now having an al fresco component, in addition to larger sushi and hibachi sections inside. And lastly, across the way is the return of the included Park Cafe for an extra secondary buffet that rotates options throughout the day, such as a bagel bar in the morning, with various cream cheeses and other toppings that the staff can kindly assemble for you before devouring inside. Personally, I thoroughly enjoyed my breakfast bagel with cream cheese, smoked salmon, and capers, which could have alternatively been enjoyed outside. Continuing down to Deck 7 is a pair of included rock climbing walls again, that challenge takers to ascend on either side of the ultimate abyss, each with several open lanes. And then similarly on Deck 6, for younger aspiring mountaineers, is the Kids Climber Jungle Gym. Behind those guests safely hanging onto ship surfaces is the ship's legendary Aqua Theater, where the first of 3 original live shows is performed on Utopia of the Seas. Aqua 82 is a sequel to the water show from Oasis of the Seas as an homage to the 1980s, highlighting films from Back to the Future to E.T., and of course many exemplary selections of the decade's great music in creative mashup form. And it's all celebrated by a cast of ace dancers, swimmers, high divers, and other aerialists, all further accentuated by an array of kinetic fountains that semi-encircle a deep performance pool. To this day, the Aqua Theater remains one of my all-time favorite cruise ship entertainment venues, and Royal Caribbean keeps raising the bar on each new iteration. Performances are free, but reservations are required to secure your spot, so be sure to do so as soon as you can, because as you can clearly see, you will not be disappointed. And the Aqua Theater is only a portion of the larger boardwalk neighborhood that is at the very back of the ship, and has what would otherwise be interior staterooms overlooking its courtyard, as do those above Central Park. Another casual extra-cost dining option is none other than the return of Johnny Rockets. The diner brand has pulled back on its retro focus a bit, but the food has not changed. Like my tasty Rocket Double with added bacon and side of fries, washed down with a cherry vanilla Coke, before a dessert of apple pie a la mode. Also an added cost but equally worthwhile is the Playmaker Sports Bar across the way. Even if you're not a fan of the games televised, the available fare is some of the ship's best comfort food. Oh, and there's also the attached arcade to supplement the one above, with both an indoor section of games, as well as outside one to try. Or for something free along the boardwalk, the Doghouse has you covered with included hot dogs and sausages, and all the toppings served by the friendly staff. Also included are free rides on the Central Carousel. Seen here during a special family time when cotton candy was being made and served. Still, if that's not enough to satiate your sweet tooth, Sugar Beach is home to bulk candies and premium ice cream for purchase. Just don't get your head stuck in the giant donuts, which might suggest a trip to the fitness center afterwards. As included shipboard gyms go, Utopia's is definitely one of the biggest, outfitted with seemingly endless pieces of exercise equipment. And multiple spaces delineate additional weights, treadmills, motion studios, and a spinner classroom. No longer attached to an underutilized spa cafe is the Vitality Spa and Salon tucked just behind the fitness center. This, as you would expect, is where guests can purchase hair and body treatments that even descend down a deck to access the facility's relaxation room and collection of treatment rooms. The further added cost thermal suite is still nothing terribly special, without a therapy pool, and only the bare minimum of heated tile loungers, experience showers, dry sauna, and steam room. In the meantime, at the core of Deck 6 are a few remaining venues that are perched above the ship's Royal Promenade, such as the Shore Excursions area, for buying tours to take ashore. And the adjacent Focus Gallery and Picture This are where professional portraits are digitally taken and purchased. One classic Royal Caribbean feature that I'm thrilled to see retained after all of these years is the Schooner Bar. Its vintage maritime theme space is a timeless reminder of just how far the line has come during its storied cruise career. Down on Deck 5 is one of the levels where you can board the Rising Tide Bar that is shuttled back and forth between the Royal Promenade and Central Park during its opening hours. It's still a popular novelty that I could hang out on for hours on end, as my friend and colleague Aaron Saunders and I did, for at least a single beverage-lubricated descent. One change nearby since earlier Oasis-class ships is the removal of the Bionic Bar, however. In its place on Utopia is the new Pesky Parrot Tiki Bar, not unlike the one found on Navigator of the Seas, but bigger. The robotic watering hole was deemed a bit passé, and already much more frequented is its super popular replacement. I mean, who doesn't love a great retro bar with fun signage, animated displays, and colorful decor? And don't forget the tasty drinks themselves. My personal favorite is the Monkey Business, made from banana and coffee liqueurs. And again, those handful of venues only make up a portion of the otherwise expansive Royal Promenade and its veritable mall of extra-cost retail stores, and more that is included, like entertainment venues, and its own bandstand for live music loudly piped throughout. Other venues off from the promenade extend to the guest services desk, where the crew can attend to any needs you may have. And leaving the street's resident classic car behind is the all-day cafe promenade for grabbing an included coffee and snack. Or to buy a beer or other cocktail and enjoy some more live music, Bell & Barley has you covered. And then there's Sorrento's, and its perpetually mediocre pizza pies. Every time I have high hopes, but every time I'm let down. Maybe one day they will finally be better. But until then, there is always Boleros, and its included live Latin music, an attached sure thing of an extra cost bar, still carrying over its cool Cuban theming and classic car photo op. And if you're more of a premium coffee kind of person, you can always buy a genuine Starbucks Java, and even its usual array of pastries. Or if you're self-indulgent in a vocal kind of way, Spotlight Karaoke beckons you to the microphone to craft your very own entertainment. But if you're anything like me, you're more fond of heading to the Royal Theatre for its traditionally staged performances. While there are no remounted Broadway shows aboard Utopia, its production titled All In is plenty capable of still wowing a crowd. In fact, I was blown away by the chops of its massive cast of singers and dancers, and their high-energy, high-tech, and high-amp performances. Like at the Aqua Theater, aerialists shine here as well. The music played to represent Burning Man, Studio 54, and other high-profile events and nightclubs delivers a punch via a seriously impressive sound system that reminded me of those on Corporate Cousin, Celebrity Cruises' Edge-class ships. And the light rigs were just as amazing at illuminating kinetic colors. That is before lasers and a fleet of drones literally raised the bar even higher. And how cool are the perfectly timed interactions between live performers and the CG ones on screen? Suffice it to say, you will be unable to keep your feet from enthusiastically tapping to the tunes. This is cruise ship entertainment at its finest. But there is still more to discover down on Deck 4, including a separate non-smoking Casino Royale in the space previously occupied by a jazz club. While I'm sad to see jazz music no longer on the roster, I do appreciate a fume-free alternative to the main gambling hall. But the attic remains as the ship's comedy club across the way, for live sets from world-class comedians. Or as needed, the space can also double as a press or other conference room. And believe it or not, there is still one more major entertainment venue on board Utopia. Studio B is the next in a line of the brand's signature ice rinks for hosting spectacular skating shows. And the one on the latest ship is the titular Utopia, spelled Y-O-U. Like in the main theater, the Icecapade employs a marvelous cast of skaters, beautifully costumed and applying their talents in distinct ways to bring to life a colorful retro Utopia. And high technology further tells the story with animated projections that make the ice itself a giant movie screen. But it's ultimately the skaters themselves that most shine with their breathtaking movements and Olympic precision. Everything from candy and comic art to environmental and sci-fi motifs is creatively gathered together on the icy stage. For those looking to purchase some art on board, Park West Gallery edges the studio's perimeter with its collection scheduled at auctions right on board. And just beyond is the larger primary Casino Royale, where smoking is permitted. It's a fine space that on the new ship is untainted by an accumulation of cigarettes, at least for now. I only wish the two could swap places, or this one was non-smoking as well. Nonetheless, the onboard venue making the most headlines is the extra-cost Royal Railway Utopia Station. The brand new interactive dining experience is located where Izumi was once placed, off a fully themed station-style lobby. Stepping up to the platform, two 24-passenger or rather diner rail cars have pulled in. We didn't have a chance to fully eat here, but a preview of the experience was played out, complete with live-action Bandit performers, and just a taste of the available courses, like barbecue chicken or even impossible ribs. Once on board, so to speak, digital screens and a vibrating floor sell the illusion of train travel for those seated at 4 or 2 top tables. And our Bandit friends stopped by again for one last send-off before we had to leave the station, as it were. It's definitely an experience I intend to return for to get the complete effect. And last but not least on level 4, as well as 3 and 5, is the ship's expansive triple-decker main dining room for included meals. Now to conclude with our final pros and cons. What we most disliked as pains in the aft are, even though they will eventually be ready, several instances of incomplete new ship venues, a widespread prevalence of noise pollution, and still mediocre Sorrento's Pizza and Poolside Fare at the Spare Tire. But what we most liked and can take a bow are the otherwise super creative Royal Railway dining cars, outstanding trio of original live shows, and being the most refined Oasis-class ship in the series overall. Thanks so much for watching. If you would, as it really does help support us, please like this video with a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel while hitting that bell icon to be notified of new videos, watch our other ones, and visit popularcruising.com